Do you want to speed read faster? Watch this video. Well, you're already watching it, so let's get it. Okay, boom.
I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy. And I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today, I'm teaching you about speed reading. There's a lot of nonsense out there about speed reading, okay? Specifically, I gotta call this out, right? Quantum reading. I just get a vibe from this book. Yeah, I know what it is about. Let's look at some practical things you can actually do to speed read, okay? Now, this usually works for a book like this, right? Not picture books, not like little bullet points in between and little gaps and stuff like that. It works for books like this, okay? We're looking at Power versus Force right now. David R. Hawkins, one of my favorite books, okay? So, let's say that we're gonna start reading this book, okay? Now, I love to have little, you know those tiny little post-it notes that you add in the book itself? And I love to highlight, if I really was to break this book down, and I haven't yet, but if I really were to break this book down, I would highlight, I would underline, I would do all of that stuff, right? But we're specifically talking about speed reading, so let's test this out, okay? You want to count the number of average words on a page, essentially. You could do that by counting the rows, and then the words this way, and then timesing them together, right? Or you can just kind of get a basic idea of how many words are in a page. This is just so you can time yourself, right? This is just so you have a model to work with. If you know your WPM or your words per minute, then you can beat your high score. You can gamify yourself and be like, how many words can I read in a minute? And let's say you can read 500 words per minute. Okay, well, let's start beating that high score, right? Can you go past the page? Then you start challenging yourself, right? That's that masculine energy, is the energy of challenge. And the feminine energy is the energy of praise. So praise yourself along the way. Hey, I'm really good at this. Have a praise internally that you're really good at reading, and tell yourself that you're a fast reader. That's the first thing. You've got to identify with being a fast reader, right? Fastest reader in the West, okay? Fastest reader in the East. Fastest reader in my city. Let's go, okay? Have that mentality. Give yourself praise, but also challenge yourself and gamify along the way. This is creating the yin-yang of reading. This is what you're doing right now, okay? We have something called the peripheral vision, right? Which means seeing from the side of our eyes towards something. So I don't have to start to notice, right, with my side of my eyes what's out there. I know what's out there already, right? I can see there's an air conditioner over there, right? My grandma's picture over there, right? I can see that. But I really have to work with my peripheral vision in order to do that. Here's like I'm sitting on a treadmill right now, so this is what this is, right? The same thing goes for when you're speed reading, okay? You are reading, let's say there were two lines here across the middle. You are reading within the middle of those two lines. So you're not starting from here and then ending in the last word here, okay? You're actually just reading through the middle, and your peripheral vision is going to pick up the other words very quickly. So read from the middle. Our eyes move very fractionally, okay? Our eye movement moves very fractionally. So let's say that I was to move my eye from this side to this side of the room, okay? Let me do it now. It's very, right? Let me do it again. Breaks up, it reads a single word at a time. That's how we usually read, right? The potential applications for research we have, it's very robotic, one word at a time, and we also have a voice in the head. Instead of that fractionation, I want you to use a pen or a highlighter or something, or your finger, so you can track the words very quickly and smoothly. Now watch. Now look at how my eyes are looking, okay? If I'm more smooth, way more smooth than the abruptness of the pattern, right? So the same way when you're speed reading, you're reading like this. Okay? You're tracing it with your finger as you go along, and you're just looking at the finger. Right? You're not basically staring directly at the words, you're just looking at the finger, and that's getting you the idea based around what this text is talking about. The next thing that I mentioned is we read with a voice in the head. A lot of speed reading videos will mention this to you, okay? Subvocalization, reduce your subvocalization. Some people say to introduce a faster subvocalization, okay? I don't know about that. I've just noticed that it gets in the way. Okay, it gets in the way. When I listen to audiobooks online or on Audible or something, I'll notice that I go to the 2 times speed, but that's because my brain already works very fast sometimes, that it becomes overwhelming. So the 2 times speed isn't a problem for me. It's when it's the slow speed that it becomes a problem for me. So actually, slow reading is going to be more of a challenge for my type of brain style rather than speed reading, right? Automatically. Because my brain is like a processor, right? And some of your brains are like this too, maybe. The problem is a lot of our brains are actually, the RAM is way too much. We have way too much energy in the mind, and so it causes anxiety, overthinking, and all of these things, right? So for people who are like that, who want to read and get rid of the layers of the mind, we have layers of the mind, okay? Different layers of the mind that we have. So we might be thinking of reading up here, but below that, subconsciously underneath that layer, we're thinking about like Legend of Zelda or something like that, right? So we've got to be able to understand that as we're reading, that okay, my mind is going to drop down to this level. As soon as it does that, we bring it back to the firstmost layer. And the topmost layer, what is it saying? Maybe it's saying, oh, did I check the fridge? Did I leave it closed? This is why it's important to add full stops in your thought process before you start reading something, and you set the atmosphere of reading. I would highly recommend that you try this out. Try playing classical music, and there's been studies that show this, that we read faster when we play classical music because of the smoothness of the mellifluous, is that a word? The mellifluous way of like reading, right? Through classical music, because it has that smooth, melodic quality to it. And this is very powerful stuff, right? Nuanced stuff. But if you create a ritual like, okay, I'm going to lock my door, I'm going to play some classical music, right? I'm going to stretch a bit, I'm going to do some yoga stretches, right? I'm going to generate some chi in my fingers before I can trace my finger. Okay, just this create a ritual for yourself where you're like, I'm getting ready to read now. Don't read like this. Okay, read like, get into the rhythm of that. Don't take your finger off. Don't go like abruptly like. Subvocalization, stop reading with the voice in your head. So the potential applications of research, that's a sentence, right? In your head, you have a specific pace that's like the specific applications of research. And you're trying to speed it up, but it doesn't work oftentimes. So just get rid of it. Don't even focus on the voice in your head anymore. Get into such a flow state with reading that you just focus on the visual words. Okay? Focus on the visual word cues instead of the actual voice in your head. Because that voice in your head is also known as the inner critic at times. And it's been so conditioned to be the inner critic that it's going to get us sidetracked a lot of times. Remove any subvocalizations. So if you do all these techniques, I guarantee you'll at least go 50% faster, if not more, okay? Because we don't usually do these things, right? And I want you to tell yourself 2 other things. One thing is to tell yourself that you can read faster than you can. Or actually push yourself to read faster, right? Have the intention that I'm going to speed read right now. Okay? And maybe you might have to revise it, like in the first few times I know that my mind was going way too fast and I missed some of the words and the understanding of that sentence. So take a word like mental health, right? Let's say that that's a word. You know that that's a word group, right? Mental health together. You've seen that word in different posts, different areas, right? Or let's say United States of America. So that's a group of words together, United States of America, right? You want to get used to seeing words in clumps or groups or categorizations. So you can clump the words together. This is very, very potent, guys, okay? So if you can practice just clumping words together that are common words, you will notice how powerfully you will read faster. Try it right away. Get into a ritual. Tell yourself you're going to read faster. Start to identify with being a fast reader, even if it feels fake at first. Because you've been training yourself to be like, nah, I'm not a reader. I'm trying to get to read. I'm trying to read. It's not going to get you to read faster. I'm a reader is going to get you to read. Right? So say that I'm a fast reader. I'm a really fast reader. I can finish a book in a day. Boom. Like, start to embody that, okay? Because only then are you going to step into it. If not, you're going to have a hard time identifying with it. Identification. Learn this from Atomic Habits is the book, right? I learned this from there. Very powerful technique, identification. When we step into the identity or the role, it's going to be a lot easier for us to do the activities. Okay? If you constantly tell yourself, yeah, no, I have a really bad memory, bro. Stop telling yourself that. Okay? Stop telling yourself. It starts there. Trust me, it starts there. It starts with the identification of, no, I can do this. Not, I'm learning, right? I'm in the process of learning to speed read. No, you're a speed reader. Embody that. Now start reading. You're going to have a different energy when you're reading now. And it depends on the urgency as well, right? Sometimes like you have to read before a class or something, or like you missed a reading before a class or something like that, right? Right? You have an urgency there. You have a due date. I don't use the word deadline, so it's the word dead in it, right? So you have the due date already known. Oh, I have to read it by class tomorrow, right? So you finish it between the nighttime. Let's say you finish it in the evening, the day before, right? So having that due date is going to give you more urgency to actually read the passages faster, right? And use these techniques that I told you as well. Also, one more tip is give this video a like and a thumbs up and subscribe. More tips like this are coming very shortly, okay? Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. See you next time. Boom.